Hey, how are you? Welcome back. So you want to learn a new language, huh? So um, I've been teaching English for a few years now, on and off. The last bout was for 2 years until last month. I'm moving on to something else right now. It's just my nature, creativity is my thing, and I can apply that to many, many different fields. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know, for example, that what I taught my English students for the past few months was not so much English as how to teach themselves English. And for that matter, anything. But I'm going to use English as an example. You can learn, of course, Chinese, Spanish, German, whatever you want, especially with all the tools we have available today with the internet and whatnot. I mean, and so my story is that English was my first language, but then I blocked it from when I was like 5 years old until I was 14. My parents took me to the United States when I was 1 year old. My first language was English. We came back to Mexico and I started school, kindergarten, and 2 months later, one day my mom came out and said, "Hey, Pee Wee, lunchtime." And I turned around and I said, "Yo no comprender, a mí hablarme en español," with my American accent. And I blocked it. Anyway, at 14, due to some circumstances, I unblocked again, but I had lost a lot of it. Anyway, when I was 19, I went to travel to Europe, and after 4 months, I ended up in France, which was not my favorite place, and the French were not my favorite people at the time. But anyway, in 15 days, I found an apartment, a job, and a girlfriend. So, as I say, Paris chose me. I didn't choose Paris, and so thus I started learning French. I only knew three things when I arrived there: is je suis mexicain, je ne parle pas français, et voulez-vous coucher avec moi? And that was it. And so the first day I met a Mexican guy who gave me some guidance about Paris and its places and where to eat and where to sleep and blah blah blah. He taught me two things. That day is like very important: how to ask for a glass of water and how to ask where the toilet is. So a glass of water is un verre d'eau, s'il vous plaît. And in Spanish sounds like verde instead of verdo. So I thought, oh, it's a masculine screen. So un verdo. And I applied it and they brought me a glass of water. And I was like, wow, this works. And où est la toilette? Where is the toilet? So toilette was easy because in English it's toilet. But où est didn't make any sense to me. So I thought about this Mexican film with a comic who played a caveman, and he had a song in it. It was like a joke, and it was like ooh ooh and so I started. That's how I remembered. At the time, I didn't know this was called mnemonics. Anyway, so I started learning French, and one thing I did intuitively was to every night before going to sleep, I would take a small article from the newspaper with a subject that I knew about. I don't know, Robert Redford or something else familiar to me, and I would just copy it by hand, longhand, in a notebook, and this helped a lot because 2 days, 3 days later, some word would come out, and I was like, oh, I know that word, combien. What does it mean? Oh, it means how much. Oh, and it's written like Combien. Yeah, how do you know? Oh, well, I have it visualized because I wrote it. I didn't know what it meant, and I didn't care to understand what I was writing. It was just like copying nonstop. So anyway, long story short, 4 months later, I was speaking a little bit French. A year later, I was sustaining a simple conversation with lots of mistakes. And 2 years later, people would ask me, it's like, wow, you have a strange accent. What region are you from? And that filled me with so much pride because I was like, no, I'm Mexican. No, but your parents are French or you went to French schools. Like, no. What I did is I watched a lot of political debates on TV, and I started imitating the French, kind of like mocking them, and all the body language. My inspiration was Alain, who was the son of the woman who rented me a room, Madame Carme, and he lived in Mexico for 2 years, and he spoke the worst Spanish I ever heard in my life. But he had the Mexican music so well studied, so down, that I would understand everything. It's like, oh, you Guadalajara, you me comí los tacos. I was like, wow. Anyway, so long story short, again, I imitated the French. I imitated a lot of the tones, the music of the language. That's what I've been teaching my students. And I came up with 14 different things that you can do outside of class. Because now I don't think it's necessary you need a teacher really. Maybe yes, once a month to guide you through and get some doubts out of the way. But there's so many resources out there. I mean, if you come to a teacher to teach you grammar, there's so many websites that have much better explanations and simple explanations. You want exercises, there's hundreds of websites with exercises. You can like so much. Anyway, so I'm going to list all of these. So the first exercise is this one is the daily copywriting, and also remember the trick is to balance input and output. So input is listening and reading, output is speaking and writing, and ultimately speaking is the key. Just speak. Make a lot of mistakes, no worries. And that's why I give you all these like creativity workshop exercises like gibberish and breathing and many others that I will be posting soon. But it's all to get you beyond the symbol, to enjoy the process and not to worry about making mistakes. Mistakes is how we learn. So anyway. So again, daily copywriting is one of the exercises. You copy text related to your level, to your interest, something you're passionate about because you're going to put a lot more attention. Then read the copy text aloud and try to connect it with the speech, what you're reading. And focus on short conversational texts, news, podcasts, anything that is appealing to you. Okay, so number 2, write your own texts, short stories, articles, novels, encyclopedias. Write about what you love, what you like, what you empathize with, what you're concerned about. Keep it short, important, and then put it into your favorite AI and tell it to correct it. I'll come back to that. Okay, so number 3. This is not my favorite, but some people swear by it. I find them useful, but not to me as a preferred method, but they're great. Flashcards. So flashcards, there's several methods, analog and digital, and I will be talking about them, but a little bit further. Then use an SRS, space repetition system. And this has to do with flashcards. It's computer-based. This one is called Anki. And you can look on YouTube what it is, how it works. You can download it for free. And if you want to make an analog one, it's called a Leitner box. And also you can see how that works. But basically, it's, you have these words, and they span 7 weeks. You just go through them. If you don't remember one, it goes back to week 1. You repeat them every day. If you remember them without looking at the reference, goes to week 2. And then after week 7, they're supposedly back to your brain. It's a great way to learn vocabulary. Okay. Number 5, active listening and shadowing. So listen to podcasts. The BBC has like really great podcasts for foreigners, and you have the text next to it. It highlights as they're speaking, so you can connect speech with writing. It's great for pronunciation, and they're short, 1, 2, 3 minutes, so you don't have to invest much. I mean, the whole thing about this is like if you practice 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, you'll make so much improvement. Believe me. I have students who do that, and they excel. Well, after you listen to the podcast, then shadow. And shadowing means like you look at a video or something and you just repeat with the same tone. Like I said, like kind of mocking the body language, the tones, the music of the language, the rhythm. And, just do 2 or 3 phrases a day. Not much. It doesn't take, you don't have to study 1 hour a day. Okay, number 6. This one, well, it's the 2020s now. We have AI, ChatGPT, and Perplexity, and DeepSeek, and Claude, and whatnot. Anyway, the phone version of ChatGPT has a talking feature. So you can tell it, hey, ChatGPT, I want to have a short conversation in English or Chinese, whatever, with you, and ask me questions and I'll answer, and tell me if I'm wrong or right. Tell me right immediately, or tell me at the end of the conversation, whatever the prompt that you give, the instruction, and what you feel comfortable with. So ask to give you feedback after each sentence, for example. Discuss a topic and get instant feedback. And focus on correcting mistakes. You can ask also like to give you the most frequent mistakes that you're making by ranking them, and so you can focus on the first, second, and third most frequent mistakes, correct them little by little. In a couple of weeks, you'll be on the other side. Okay, number 7. Movies and TV clips with subtitles. Watch a short scene with English subtitles, then replay without subtitles. Pause and repeat lines. Mimic actors' emotions, pronunciation, again shadowing. To me, sitcoms are great, but whatever you prefer, and I often recommend Friends, The Office, or Big Bang Theory, or something similar like that. Okay, number 8, self-correction habit. The 1-minute challenge, daily speaking drill. Record yourself and listen to yourself. Record a 1-minute monologue on a simple topic, like my favorite food, or Formula One cars, or makeup, whatever. Transcribe your video or audio to text. Detect the words that you mispronounce. Detect pauses, fillers, like like. I had a student who was like a liker. And so the goal is to improve fluency under time pressure. Review recordings weekly to track progress. Number 9, vocabulary activation. From copied texts, pick 5 words or phrases and use them in sentences aloud. Example, if you copied take for granted, say, I took my health for granted until I got sick, etc. Number 10, weekly group practice, live recorded. Find someone to have a 10-minute Zoom, structured topics, debate, storytelling, a friend. Use voice notes with WhatsApp if you cannot talk to them, live. Or you can find these apps. I think the one is called Hello Talk, and there's another one called iTalk, I think. So you can find people around the world who are willing to exchange time for your time. So, for example, somebody in Germany who's willing to teach you German for 10 minutes a day, and you teach them Spanish for 10 minutes a day. And it's not teaching, but it's much more like having a conversation and with somebody who's native in that language. So I've heard mixed reviews about those apps. Sometimes it seems like they become like pickup places, but anyway, you can give it a try. But there's alternatives. You can find for expats also in the country that you live in, and go to bar reunions and make friends from those countries that you're interested in learning their language. Then number 11, pronunciation drills. There's a tool called Youglish, like YouTube, but it's Youglish, like English, to hear words in real videos. So you, for example, type in advancement, and then it finds you a video that uses the word advancement and in context. You can also target tricky sounds. For example, in English, for Spanish speakers, the th is very difficult. And you can use minimal pairs. I don't know if you know what's that, but it's like these like short words, monosyllables, normally that sound almost the same, but they're not. For example, ship and sheep. And then also you can listen and repeat. Tongue twisters are great. No, she sells seashells by the seashore, etc. And in Spanish, a mí me han dicho que te han dicho que he dicho yo, pero ese dicho yo no lo he dicho, porque si no el dicho estaría bien dicho por haberlo dicho yo. Whatever. So, but they're great to train your tongue. And important, articulate, move your mouth. Don't speak with your mouth closed because nobody's going to hear you and understand you. So, important. Mimic, move, articulate. I remember my friend Elizabeth in Paris. Articule. When I was learning French. Okay, number 12. Online tools. I mean, as I said, there's hundreds of websites with a great grammar and stuff. Dictionaries, for example, in English, you have the Merriam-Webster, the Oxford English Dictionary, the OED, the Wiktionary. It's pretty awesome because it gives you the etymology and all that stuff. And there's also a very useful one is a frequency dictionary. And what a frequency dictionary does is list words by how frequently they are used in the language. So, for example, in English, the two most used ones are the, number one, and be, number two, and so on. So basically, this I use to build confidence with my students. We go through the first 1,000 words, which covers about 70% of the language. And they realize that out of the 1,000 words, maybe they don't know 30 or 40, maybe 50, which is nothing, 5%, 3% of the language. So they realize that they know all the words that they need to. It's just putting them together that gets tricky. And that's because normally people are ashamed about making mistakes, and so they don't speak. It's important to speak and make all the mistakes you can. Also, to realize what your mistakes are and correct them, because then I had students who would just keep making the same mistake for 4 months, and it's just they're not paying attention. And there's also pronunciation sites and videos. You can use Google Translate, for example, and there's a little, you can put the sentence there or the word there, and you click on the speaker icon, and it gives you a pronunciation. Youglish, as I mentioned, and you can also look for English teachers on YouTube who specialize in pronunciation or in grammar, and you can go to those and look for you in YouTube for specific pronunciation issues for Spanish speakers, for example. Number 13, the IPA. That's a very interesting tool. The IPA is the International Phonetics Alphabet, and I teach it to my students also because it gives them a new symbol system and makes them work a little bit harder or more consciously. and it's great for transcriptions and pronunciations. And what is great about the IPA, which was invented by the French, is that there's these symbols that have a specific sounds, and they work in every language. So once you know the IPA, and the IPA is that little like Greek, they seem like Greek symbols after each word in a dictionary. They usually come in a parenthesis or something. And once you know these symbols and how they sound, they work for every language. So you look at a dictionary in Portuguese, and you can pronounce the word perfectly in Portuguese, in Russian, in German, in Spanish, in English, whatever. So I recommend that you learn the IPA. It seems very difficult at the beginning. It's not. In 2 days, you can really get it down. And there's like some fabulous YouTube videos on how to learn IPA. And it's not difficult. And so, for example, in English, there's 44 phonemes. Some say 45, whatever. In Spanish, we have 20 of those phonemes already. So you have to learn 24. No, we have 24, I think, and you have to learn 20 more. So it's not difficult, believe me, and it's very useful. And number 14, wildcard activities. Sing along to English songs. We've all done that, And there you are. My 14-year-old daughter does it all the time. She pronounces beautifully her songs. She doesn't know what they mean, but she does sing along. You can dub a cartoon scene, some of your favorite cartoons, and just shadow. You can describe a photo, and just like what's happening in that picture. And basically that's it. And there's more, of course, but I'm just giving you 14 for the moment. Then you can like divide your, say, 15 minutes a day, 5 minutes in the morning. You do some copy and then read aloud. And then in the afternoon, you do another 5 minutes and you shadow a podcast. And in the evening, you do another 5 minutes and you have an AI conversation. And that's it. And you got your 15 minutes divided in 5, 5, 5. So it's not heavy at all. Anyway, I hope this is useful. And remember, you can go into Google, and if you learn how to search, it's not difficult. Go into Google and say how to search in Google efficiently. And, learn how to use quotation marks, plus signs, commas, semicolons, columns. It's amazing what you can. How can you reduce your search to something very specific? So I think I'll do another video on that. Because a lot of people don't know how to search the internet, and it's very annoying. Actually, that made me a lot of money back in the day. I used to be a great researcher. I worked in banks, and the bankers were like, how did you find that GDP of Uganda in 1974? It's like, it took me like 2 hours. Me like 5 minutes, but I would just not give it to them immediately so they wouldn't get accustomed. And I gave this secret like to maybe 10 people during my career, but I'm gonna give it to you now. Anyway, good luck. Any questions, please comment on the comments section below this video. Contact me. I would be very glad to hear from you and answer any questions, or if warranted, I'll make a video about it. And good luck.